As a result of demographic change, experts believe that the number of people needing care in Germany will rise from around 2.3 million today to roughly 3.4 million in 2030. Unless there is a fundamental shift in the recruitment policy, around 500,000 care jobs will be unfilled. Meanwhile, Vietnam has a very young population, which means that its labor force has great potential. The Vietnamese government actively promotes labor mobility for healthcare workers and recognizes the advantages of gaining professional experience abroad. To overcome the severe shortage in human resource working in nursing industry in Germany, the first time within the framework of Germany-Vietnam pilot projects implemented in 2013, 100 Vietnamese workers were selected to participate training course to become care assistants for elderly in Germany. The training in Germany will give the young Vietnamese workers new perspectives on language, economy and culture in Germany.
Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NETVIET. On today's program, we are going to have the talk with Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Germany to Vietnam. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Jutta Frusch. Thank you so much for joining us. And first of all, we'd like to congratulate on the Football World Championship that Germany team has won recently.
Yes, thank you very much. It was a great match. I hope you watched it.
The topic that we would like to discuss with you today is on the cooperation program on training nurses and bring them to Germany for training and work. So first of all, would you please share with us the general information on this cooperation project?
Yes, this program had the first round in last year in 2013. We started it by opening the language course in, I think it was March 2013, and then in September 2013 the first 100 or around 100 nurses went to Germany to complete their education and to specialize in taking care of old people. That is a fast growing branch in the German health system, because the German society is aging rapidly and we in Germany have too few nurses to look after our elder people who mostly live in so-called residences for elder people and who are not looked after by the families.
Why did Germany decided to choose Vietnam as a partner in this special program training for the nurses?
Well, I think the initiative was a joint one, because we were looking for nurses and Vietnam wanted to find countries. I mean, they already work with Korea and Japan, but here apparently in Vietnam one has a lot of nurses and one would like to specialize and qualify them. And so it was a very good cooperation between our Ministry of Economic Affairs. They were the ones who initiated that. The Ministry Molisa here in Vietnam, and also DOLAP, the specialized unit of Molisa, who worked very closely in formulating an MOU and to design the terms and conditions of this exchange program. And the program was then implemented by the GIZ. The language training was done by the Goethe Institute, and all these people worked very well together to get to the first results in a very, very fast time, because the language course, as I said, was only half a year. And of course, from a pilot project you learn. We know that this was not enough for the language training, so I think this time the language training is going to be longer and even more intensive, I think, because you need a certain level in order to be able to survive in Germany and also to follow the classes, because the classes at these schools, they are of course in German.
As a part of the pilot project initiated in 2013, some of 125 young Vietnamese people have been selected in the second phase to be care assistants for elderly in Germany from August 2015. The second phase of the project is based on experience gained during the first phase. One of the key factors in making the training a success was intensive linguistic and cultural preparation. There will therefore be a greater focus on this in the second round. After completing a state-funded language course at the Goethe Institute in Hanoi, the participant received training in small groups at care homes in Baden-Württemberg, Bavaria, Berlin, and Lower Saxony. During this training period, they also take part in additional language courses and intercultural programs to help them adjust to their new lives. The training is designed to ensure that young people are well integrated and learn about German care standards from the bottom up. This will open up long-term job prospects for them in Germany.
As you just mentioned earlier, Germany is not the first country having this cooperation program on training the nurses with Vietnam. So what are the special benefits that the Vietnamese nurses can have from the German program?
They get a training, a specialization, which they later can use in Vietnam, because although Vietnam now is a very young population, it is also aging fairly rapidly, and in a couple of years' time you will have similar problems as Germany. And so when these nurses come back, they do have a specialization which is very useful also for Vietnam. And they speak a foreign language, and they can move in two different societies. I think these are all skills that one acquires, which are really more than just for the job one is doing. It's a skill for life, and one can use it in many other fields. If they decide to stay in Germany, they can even stay permanently. We would welcome that very much. But of course, we know also that Vietnam is a society where family relations are very intense, and so probably many of them are going to go back to Vietnam. We are talking of a win-win situation, because both countries profit from this program.
If they would like to stay longer time in Germany, could they integrate with the German society?
We have already more than 100,000 Vietnamese in Germany. They are already there for a long time, and their children are now grown up, and they are very, very well integrated. The same is going to happen with these nurses, because they learn the language and they live in a German kind of environment.
What are the assessments on the Vietnamese nurses that have just finished the first phase and have been selected to be in Germany?
The first 100 nurses were received very, very successfully in Germany. They were, I think, split up. They work in 4 different regions in Germany, and I think that especially the old people's homes and also the teachers are very impressed by the standard of the Vietnamese nurses, and how very good they work, and how committed they are to their jobs and to help the old people, and they are very sympathetic and have a very good contact with them. So I think they are really well received in Germany, and very much liked, and I think that is also very good for German-Vietnamese relations.
You have just mentioned the cooperation with the Vietnamese partner, for example, the Molisa. So may you comment on their support for this program and their cooperation with the German science to have a good result on this project?
I think we had a very, very good cooperation, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to develop this program so fast. It was really something because the Ministry of Economic Affairs in Germany wanted to get it started, They had the money, and so they looked for partners, and with the help of also the embassy here, we brought the two sides together, which is our task, and which was very successful because the Vietnamese side was really very forthcoming also in selecting the students and the participants in the program, and to do all the necessary work which was necessary, and also to enable them to then finally emigrate to Germany, because they needed passports, they needed all these certificates. So that was a very, very good cooperation. And I think without that we wouldn't have had the program started last year. It would have taken much longer.
How will the second phase going to be implemented?
Last year's program was an experiment. It was successful, and then finally it was decided, yes, it is going to be continued, but this is depending heavily on the two states, I mean the two governments. The German side would very much like to involve much more the companies, i.e. the old people's homes, the hospitals, and those who really employ the nurses. There is the necessity by these German institutions. They come to Vietnam, they have a look how they can train these people also maybe here in Vietnam, and then bring them over to Germany. This is something where less government involvement would be necessary, but this is for the future. This year we have to see how the program goes, but we in Germany we are already working with the institutions of the health system to get a little bit independent.
It can be said that Germany and Vietnam have a lot of cooperation projects concerning the development cooperation, but this can be considered one of the first program that working on healthcare sectors. So in the future, is there any other initiative for this cooperation?
Well, Germany has a kind of new, it's trying to attract as many well-trained and educated workers as possible, because it's not only in the field of nurses that we need more skilled labor, but also in many other fields, and we are trying to attract students to Germany to study in Germany and then stay for a certain while. We are trying to attract other well-educated people to Germany. It's a kind of program which is called Make It in Germany, and that implies that it is easier to get work and work permits in Germany, and the permit also to stay in the country. That used to be extremely difficult a couple of years ago, but because we have such a need of skilled labor, this is easing at the moment, and we really would like to welcome more foreigners in Germany. And of course Vietnamese students especially who study engineering and things like that, they are more than welcome to stay and work in Germany as well.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's all we have for today's program. Thank you so much for watching Sharing Vietnam at 8:30 p.m. on VTC 10 NETVIET. If you have any question or recommendation, please send us an email to sharingvietnam@vtc.vn. Leave you for today and see you next time.